Season 1, Episode 2, Waves. And the title of this episode is called The Hills Have Eyes. Well. Here we are, friends. We are on Season 1, Episode 2 of a new series called Waves. If you are just joining, thank you so much for joining and welcome. That means that Episode 1 was already uploaded last Saturday, you guys. Episode 1, Not So Merry-Go-Round, is available. So make sure you guys listen to that first before you jump into Episode 2. And you're listening to Sloan Talks. Okay, you guys, I feel like these stories about my health issues are going to come in an order of basically where I am now. But first, let us step back. Okay, we're going to go back, you guys. We're going to go back to summertime. Okay, we're going to go back to summertime of 2023. Let's get into it. So at this point, it had been, April, May, June. So it was probably maybe 12 weeks since the first vertigo attack. And I had told myself, and of course, everyone says that it's probably stress. So I had made a point to try and relieve the stress in my life, right? So what does that look like? That means taking more me time for myself. That means not overreacting in situations. That means doing yoga, doing meditation, doing breathing techniques. And then, going for walks, right? And the weather is so nice during the summer, you guys. The weather is giving 99, okay, every day. And let me just talk about this for a second. Summer where I'm from in Cali has a smell. You heard me? Summer has a smell. It smells like metallic. So metallic is in the air, okay? The air is warm. And I had decided that part of my healing process and figuring out what's causing this, maybe stress. Let's focus on stress. We're going to knock these things out one thing at a time. So stress. So let's go on walks. I think it started pretty normal with my walks. I would go on walks with Mr. Sloan in the daytime, and it was pretty calming. First of all, you guys, why is this so cute? So in the summertime, and I don't know, maybe it's because the only time I walk. I don't like exercising much. Too much manual labor. Anyway, listen. In my neighborhood, it's pretty quiet. And so there's always families out during the summer walking. I guess they do an after dinner walk kind of thing. I think that's so adorable. So when we'd go out, there'd be a mom, and her 2 kids and her husband, they're pushing a stroller with the dog. Or there's a lady who's doing a night run with her, her 3 dogs. Or there's, it's everyone's either walking their dog or walking their kids. You know what I'm saying? It's giving walk your dog, walk your kids at night. And I just think that's such a cute, it was just so nostalgic and warm and just, I feel like that's the thing I needed to look at. You know what I mean? Am I going to get emotional on this one? Uh-oh. Not emotional. I feel like that's what I needed to see. Just people living their normal lives, right? What's going on inside of my brain or body or eyes and head and movements and vertigo, all that stuff. I just wanted to see people who were living just a regular life. So going out and going for those walks and encountering people on the walks and hey, how you doing? That's just a thing in this area. You just kind of greet people as you walk by. And I thought that was sweet. Or we'd people watch, right? So we'd sit on the top of this hill and we'd watch people running the trails and things like that. And I felt like that was super, super therapeutic. I feel like the Sony Bear now is because of those moments, right? It's because I took time from crazy life, which is being a mom, doing pickup and drop off, taking kids to practice, taking kids to rehearsals, taking kids to tournaments, all of that stuff stopped. Yep. That was the first time that we halted everything. Everything was put on hold. It was just nothing. We were at a standstill. And the only thing was just the smell of the metallic in the air. Okay. And the Cali summer metallic vibes. You see what I'm saying? And that is something that's I'm so grateful for now talking about it because I realize how much it changed the trajectory of this story. One night I guess it was kind of like, we never took the kids. Let me say this. We didn't take the kids on our night walks because I didn't know, honestly, if I was going to pass out. So a lot of these like symptoms, and still today, I don't really share in front of my kids. I don't really talk about a little bit. Like I may a little bit talk about it. Like, oh, like we were watching Manifest or Manifesto. You know what I'm talking about? That thing on Netflix, the series about the plane that was missing for 6.5 years or something. We're only like episode 3. And I was watching that with my daughter just now while braiding her hair. And like one of the scenes, I don't want to spoil too much. If you haven't seen it, it's very good. I just started watching it. My oldest daughter watched it first when it first came out. Was this like 2 years ago? And I was like, that sounds like something good I want to get into. So it is good. But basically, some of the people on the flight are experiencing symptoms to me that sounds a little bit like some sort of like neurological or like vertigo or like what's it called, a psychostorm or psychosymponic? I can't think of the name of it, but basically it's like this like flurry of feelings, right? So it's like, you know, you have your senses. It's like a flurry of senses. Your brain is on overload. It's like a neurological storm basically in your brain. And so a lot of the passengers after the plane flight were having like hearing visions or having headaches while watching TV or feeling dizzy or like just all these things. Was like, I was like, was I on the plane? So things like that, I'll joke with my kids about. I was like, wait a minute, do they have vertigo? Was mommy on the Manifest flight? Those kind of like joking things with them. But pretty much my kids have been a little bit in the dark, just a little bit. They know about my appointments. They know about everything that's going on, but not like super detailed when I have an attack. Hey, mommy had an attack today. Like I just choose not to share those things with my kids. So they're a little bit in the dark about it. And I kind of like that, literally in the dark. So when we went for our walks, our kids did not come. It was just me and him. And I felt like by him, Mr. Sloan, my husband, I felt like that was a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like it took time for us to reconnect and I think a lot of people, husbands and wives alike, will know where I'm coming from with this. When you're sick and you have a partner who's not, it is a strain on your lives. Everything about your life has to change a little bit. So like your regular routine daily has shifted. And I'm not going to say it's like a negative on a marriage or anything like that, but I do feel like it does take strong like partnership and strong understanding and a lot of communication when one person is unwell and the other person has to kind of like deal with the symptoms of the other person. So our night walks together was like our alone time. It was quiet and like we'd watch the sunset together and like hold hands and all of that cute stuff. And so one night in the summer, we decided to go for a walk together. And as we're walking, I'm kind of like noticing that, and I don't know if it was like, we'll say the time of day, it just looked like after sunset, it was a click. Either a click in my brain, a click in my eye, but everything had just changed. I guess I could describe it as, it felt like when there's like, okay, you know, we're at a rave and like, imagine this, it's a rave, 1999, 2001, that smoke machine fogger. That's what I'm saying. Like it felt like the outside world had become a giant rave and like there was a smoke machine like clouding where I couldn't see really anything. I couldn't see in front of myself. When I looked down, it looked like the fog would like make basically it was like a depth perception issue. It would make it look like I had 2 feet. And when I mean 2 feet, I meant like there's feet and then directly below it is another set of feet. So as I'm walking, my legs felt like jello. This sensation was the first time I felt this sensation, and it was during our night walk during the summertime. I immediately tried to calm myself down by doing deep breathing. And then I remember looking because there's like this very beautiful like lookout place. It's so many trails where I am, and there's just so many like beautiful things to look at. But we went to this like trail where you like overlook, there's like mountains, and there's like, you can literally see probably 2 cities. I think you can see the city over from here. That's how beautiful that peak is. And I remember looking, and then my eye started zapping. Like it was like zip, zip. And I was like, wait a minute. Is this vertigo again? Am I going to spin out? And I didn't spin out. I didn't. Instead, it was this weird smoke vision. And I literally rubbed my eyes because it felt like I could remove the smoke by like rubbing my eye. You know what I'm saying? Like it felt like there was a film on my eye of some sort. So I remember rubbing my eye and being like, okay, let me just relax. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Like we are kind of high up. Maybe that's why. And as I did that, like no change. And I remember telling Mr. Sloan, we got to go. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I have to go home. I don't remember how far we were from home, you guys, but the nice walk ended up like making us walk to the middle of nowhere, which was great. But we're just yapping and the sun is setting and we're just like a romantic couple. And we were a little bit far away from home. And I remember being like, I got to go. I didn't tell him why. And I think I choose to not do this when I'm having these kind of like attacks, if you will, because I don't want to stop me from being inside of myself. So when I'm having these attacks, I tell myself, calm yourself down. If I tell Mr. Sloan, he will make me spaz out. So he'll be like, oh my gosh, what's this? We got to put this together. I'll be like, whoa, homie, let me work this out myself. And I think that's a little bit childhood trauma, but don't judge me, judge your what? Self. You're welcome. Listen. So I feel like me dealing with issues on my own without telling my partner is just a part of me needing to heal from some childhood trauma. That's obvious. So I don't say what's happening. Like I don't say if I'm going to have vertigo. I don't say when I did have vertigo. I don't say when I'm about to crash out, as the young kids say. I don't say any of that. I let it happen. And then literally like 3 hours later, I'll be like, oh yeah, baby, remember when we were in Walmart? Yeah, I was feeling really sick. Or, oh, remember when we went to, this store? I didn't feel good. Or, oh, remember when we went on our walk? I thought I was going to pass out. Everything got white and, blurry. And I looked like smoke was on my eyeball and I rubbed my eye and it didn't get better. I tell him like hours or even days after. So for that walk, I had to say I have to go because I did not know if I was going to pass out on the trail. So I say, let's go. We have to go. And he goes, oh, why? I was like, because I don't feel well. And that was like the end of it. Like there was I think he knew what was up. Like I didn't have to really describe what the symptoms were. I think he thought it was going to be vertigo, but it wasn't. So we're walking. I remember looking at the curb, you guys, I kid you not, my legs felt like jelly. I stepped down off the curb. I looked down to step down. My leg, like I could not feel my feet. I couldn't feel my feet touch the ground. It felt like it was in quicksand. So as I stepped off the curb, one leg went into quicksand and then I stepped off to the other side and went into quicksand. So I grabbed Mr. Sloan's arm. He can tell that it was not right. Like he can tell something was wrong. I remember like looking at him like, are you seeing this or am I the only one tripping out right now? And so he goes, do you want me to carry you? And I was like, no, let me try to walk this off. Maybe it's just something that I need to just walk off kind of thing. I'm a walk off kind of girl, by the way, you guys. Listen, sis will try to walk something off. Maybe it's just something that needs to loosen up in me a little bit. So we start walking more and the symptoms get worse. So I grab his arm again and he's like, no, I have to carry you. Do you want me to get the car? I was like, no, don't get the car. Don't leave me here. Like, I cannot, I don't want you to throw me over your back. That's going to be worse. I don't want you to carry me because then like my body, I can't feel my legs. Like I can't feel it. And I also can't see my legs. And so I remember doing that. I remember walking back home in this weird kind of like galloping, like routine with my leg to be like gallop, 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 just so that I could make sure my leg touched the ground because I couldn't feel it and I couldn't see my legs. I get home and I think maybe by that time I may have been laying on a wedge. I started sleeping on wedge pillow and I think I was already on the wedge by then, but I remember laying on the wedge or laying on a stack of pillows and just looking up at the ceiling and just crying, like crying my eyes out. Like, what is happening to me? This isn't the vertigo that I had in the beginning. Like this doesn't feel, like the first spin out in the car, that one was actually spinning, like turning. Like when you look at the ceiling, okay, when you're little, why did we do Did I do this too much when I was little, y'all? When you're little and you like spun yourself and you liked that feeling, something was wrong with me. I did that a lot. I loved the sensation of spinning. I was an only child for 9 years. My baby sister wasn't born until I was 9 years old. And so literally from birth to 9, I had to entertain myself. And that means spinning. Okay. So I used to do that like for fun. So the vertigo literally felt like you're spinning yourself and then you stop and you go, woo, this is fun. No, listen, it's not fun anymore. I'm not 7. But yeah, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like when you spin yourself around, except I was in the car, buckled in a seatbelt, sweating profusely with nausea. By the way, guys, that is episode 1. So if you have not listened to episode 1, go and listen to that story about my first experience with vertigo. This is episode 2, talking about another experience. But yeah, so that's where we were. I remember crying about it. Like, it's not the same. Why is this happening? I think if it was the same, I'd be like, oh, it's the same thing. I'm sorry. No, you guys, I thought I was having a stroke. I thought I was going to pass out and I was having a stroke or a heart attack. It's just the weirdest symptoms. And none of it really makes sense to me. I'm trying to make sure I use my words very carefully. Because this podcast, you guys, is the most personal podcast I've ever done. As you know, I do have Nailgate, which is another series that's uploaded about my search for the perfect nail tech. But this one about my health is super personal. And I just want to make sure that I share with you guys as much as I can because I love you guys. You guys are my best friends. And I feel like the community that I have created through the help of all of you amazing people is literally like such a beautiful community. Like, you guys are so amazing. I'm not just saying that. I saw today one of the besties shared that her and another bestie have, I think it said 308 conversations. This is outside of our live. So this is in direct messaging to each other. And that for me, if you could see my hand is, listen, that's all I needed. That's it. This isn't about shopping. This isn't about making money. All of that is great, and I appreciate everyone's support. But the community that I built, the community that we have built and gathered all of our friends and people that are like us and like-minded girls and guys, warms my heart to pieces. That's what this is about. Let me get comfortable. Y'all, let me stretch my back out. But yeah, so I'm appreciative for all of you guys. So thank you. I'm hoping that these podcasts will start conversation with people that may be dealing with the same symptoms I am, or know people who are, or are going through something else and using this platform as just a way to connect with others. I have been talking to a few of you. So after episode 1, a few of you guys started DMing me about your stories. And I thank you for sharing. You guys literally make my day. Like, opening my inbox and reading your stories, I love it. It brings me joy. I know you guys think I'm joking. I literally took a screenshot of what one of you guys said and showed my doctor. Don't play with me. You have people say stuff, you're like, no, ma'am, I showed my doctor. I said, listen, right here, hold on. Let me get what's this right here? He wasn't familiar with what it was. But the point is, I am using what you guys are saying. I am taking all of your suggestions. I'm going to my doctors with screenshots from my besties, okay? I said, my friend told me about this. What do you think, sir? No, really, I'm doing that. So thank you guys. Thank you a million times over. I hope that you guys find, if you are battling something, that you do find treatment and that you do recover and that you do have good health. And I think that's really the main thing I wanted to, share my story. There's a lot more. I feel like this story will be little crumbs, you guys, because you guys have not even touched the surface of the story I need to tell about this. It has gone on for 2 years, and in 2 years, it has been a roller coaster of emotions. So we'll see if you guys are ready to get in some of the clinical things that have happened, some of the tests that I've been doing, and some of the scans and MRIs and X-rays. And that's a totally different world I'm going to go into to share some of these results with you guys. But as far as episode 2, you guys, this is episode 2. Comment below. Let me know what you think if you've experienced these symptoms. Right now, this story is mainly ocular. It's 100%. This is, vision, ocular related. The little glimpse of that, I think, in episode one's happened. In episode one, with the trees collapsing, but this one was totally different than the trees collapsing. This was crazy. So yeah, thank you for listening, friends, and you're listening to Sloan Talks.